Really, this could be the question of the year for Georgia, if not for the SEC generally speaking. What is the biggest weakness for the Georgia Bulldogs? That's a question we're going to talk about right now. Let me thank Stuckey's for helping us out this summer, getting this in there. It's like I've never seen these before. Y'all have seen these a lot. The reason we're showing you them a lot, you need to have them. They are quite good. If you own an ACE or a pharmacy or a small place where you have shops and so forth, sell candies, you're going to want Stuckey's in your store. We really appreciate them. Stay tuned for Stuckey's scoop at the end of this video. What is the biggest weakness for this Georgia team? And when I look over to the left over here, what I'm looking at is the board, so I have reference. And there are some areas of concern. It's not just one. I think for sure you've got a defensive backfield that's not played a snap together in their history. I mean, it just hasn't happened. So that's one concern. I think for sure that's a part that you need to worry about. The running backs. There have been times when the run game has not been what Georgia's wanted. So is it that the running backs? I don't know. And then of course you always have to worry about injury. J.C. Daniels hurt coming into last year. Stetson Bennett got hurt last year. So durability at quarterback's been an issue a lot as well, which gets me to what I think probably is the biggest weakness at Georgia, which is the offensive line. And, very specifically, the left tackle. Who's going to play left tackle for Georgia? And this is enough to set a lot of fan bases in straight panic mode. But Georgia fans are always in panic mode, so no need to send them there. They're already there. Thanks, Larry Munson. I think, though, a person with some rationale about themselves could look at the line and say, all right, so you've got some options. You do not want Jamari Sailor playing left tackle if you can help it. That's why in the, I about called it the Cotton Bowl, but the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, you saw Xavier Truss playing left tackle. Now you have a little bit more in the way of options just because you've got more guys that you just signed. I mean, I think very specifically, one guy that a lot of people are looking at is, Mims. Does he have the capability as a true freshman to play left tackle? Because everywhere else on your line is set. But if you don't have a left tackle, do you have an offensive line that can really perform? Because you can hide guys. Certainly on the offensive line where you can bring tight ends and there's 5 guys playing and on a position. You can hide guys, but left tackle. I mean, how you help there is what Mark Richt and company used to have to do with Ben Watson, which is you leave guys in or you leave your running backs in. Georgia's running backs are weapons in the passing game on 3rd and 6. Georgia's tight ends are weapons. I mean, John Fitzpatrick, the washing machine, Darnell Washington. You've got guys, just those two alone specifically, they are weapons. You don't leave receivers in, but you want to get them the ball. So if Mims is your guy at left tackle, are you going to start him against Clemson? I mean, that's a pretty good front 4 for that Clemson team. Their front 7, I think, generally speaking, is one of the better ones Georgia's going to see this fall, winter, whatever you want to call it. It probably will be the best defensive line. Georgia's defensive line is definitely the best defensive line Clemson will face this year in the regular season. So there's a matchup there with both these teams. The question is, again, what are you going to do at left tackle? So the people that I talk to in and around the program are not so insistent that Xavier Truss played poorly in the Peach Bowl. They're not that way about it, and you can tell when you talk to coaches around the league, assistant coaches around the league, if Georgia sets left tackle, then it's going to be a little bit more problematic for the defense that they're facing. Against Vanderbilt, South Carolina maybe, no, they're not going to have a hard time against those guys. They're going to be able to push them around. But when you start talking about the Gators, Auburn, Clemson, maybe Arkansas, but certainly Bama, if LSU can survive and get to the championship game, LSU, they have, former high 4-star and 5-star kids. and they have guys who can go get the pass rusher. Whoever winds up at left tackle is going to be able to need to handle players that can come off the edge like Adam Anderson, etc. They're going to be dealing with guys like that. But that's why I say that's probably their weak spot, because at the one place that you really need stability, and they had it for such a long time with Andrew Thomas. Well, not even, for 3 years, 17, 18, 19, Georgia had 2 of those years Andrew Thomas was starting at left tackle. The guy's a top 5 NFL draft pick, obviously a star in the college football world. Before that, you had another first rounder playing left tackle for Georgia. So I just, you've got options. The question is, who is the best person to deal with that space? You've got Mims, you've got Broderick Jones, and then you've got Jamari, and as well as Xavier Truss. My guess right now is that it's true. This is something I talked with Buck Blue for a while on his program the other day on 680. What is their weakness and how do they kind of get around it and through it? But if they set left tackle, then you're rolling. I mean, because you got Erickson in the middle. Erickson has a natural backup with Van Pran, and maybe Van Pran comes and takes it from him. I don't know. You've got McClendon on the at right tackle. And McClendon has been very steady. So you've got your centers or your center, and you've got your right tackle. Well, that means you're just setting guards at that point outside of the left tackle spot. Guard, there's no shortage of guards. Jamari, you've got Ratledge, you can get in there. Jones could be a guard for sure. Morris, Fairchild is someone people should be watching out for as time goes on. You have everything you want in terms of guards. You also have Justin Shaver returning, a guy who was a starter on some of those teams I've named in the past. But if you don't have your left tackle, there's cause for concern. You've got about 12 offensive drives a game, something like that. Let's just say 3 or 4, maybe you have 15. And in that time, a sack pretty much destroys one of those 12 drives. Well, that's 8% of your scoring opportunity on offense. That's a lot. And, you talk about 2 sacks or 4 sacks. Most teams, I don't know, this might be wrong. This is a Stuckey's scoop for another day. But I bet you if teams get sacked on 3 different drives or 4 different drives, the possibility of them winning just falls to the ground, basically. And so you've got to be able to have your best left tackle in there. With Truss, you've had someone who came in and started won the job through the bowl cycle, still was in there in the spring, and you can just tell because of his size that they would like him to be a starting left tackle. It gives you the ability with Xavier Truss, I said that wrong. It gives you the ability with Truss to develop him and get him going, over time. How long that will take for him to get to that position, I don't know. I mean, when we went to go visit him a couple of years ago, it wasn't, I keep saying Truss, I meant Mims, excuse me. I'm sure I'm going to get killed in the comments. Marius Mims, when you go see Marius, you see how long his arms are, and it's obvious he's a left tackle. But, if guys who are first-round guys aren't jumping in this program playing left tackle right away, then Mims is probably not going to be doing it either. So I would look for him to get some looks at left, but maybe he gets some rotation at right. I mean, Broderick Jones is no loser. You also have Tate Ratledge, who's probably more inside. They've got plenty of guys. I mean, they have 18 offensive linemen to make this work. And I just, I don't know how this shakes out. If Xavier Truss is your guy and you're not giving up sacks or pressure, then Georgia's going to be really good. And if he's not your guy and you're going with Marius Mims, that's a little bit more of a roller coaster, maybe perhaps more of an adventure. But you do have time to develop guys, as the season rolls on. You've got the Clemson game, and then you have two sort of gimme. Well, really, the month of September is not overwhelmingly challenging for Georgia before the Arkansas game arrives in October. So you can develop guys, but about October, your line's going to be set, and guys, they're not going to start rotating people. So I would look for Truss to be the guy. We'll see. I'm not betting mortgages or even a Stuckey's pecan log roll on it, as satisfying as they are to eat. I don't think you want to. We just don't know yet. And I think that's why you say that's the biggest liability perhaps for the team. With that said, DBs and O-line, if you get your O-line set, the DBs will get, that I think will get fixed. The O-line, I don't know. But if you do set that, people better look out. This is going to be a really good, team if that's the case. All right, Stuckey Scoop. There were a couple of coaching contracts that were extended over the most recent, in early July it was announced. But Georgia's offensive line coach was given an extension, and, that just shows that he could be around for a while. Matt Luke was a former head coach at Ole Miss. He's doing a really good job insofar as I can tell. With development on the offensive line. Again, perhaps this will come down to if he's gotten Xavier Truss developed, and if not, how quick can he get Amarius Mims ready to roll at left tackle. It's a challenging spot, but he was just given a contract extension at Georgia. That's your Stuckey Scoop for the week. Go to dogpost.com. We'll see you over there on the website.